Ladies, gentle beings, and all consciousness forms tuning in across the seven spiral arms. Welcome to the 847th Grand Galactic Gladiatorial Championship. Caxnor's voice boomed through the massive arena, his four-throat sax pulsating with excitement as he addressed the roaring crowd of 90 million spectators. The neural feeds buzzed with anticipation, broadcasting to trillions more across the known universe. In the red corner, standing at an impressive 9 cubits tall, with acid for blood and titanium-laced claws, the undefeated champion of the Nexus Belt Gravitax, the World Ender. The crowd erupted as a massive creature emerged from the particle shield, its obsidian scales reflecting the light from 3 artificial suns hanging above the arena. Gravitax raised all 6 of his arms, each one carrying a different weapon of mass destruction. And in the blue corner, Caxnor paused, his antenna twitching with barely contained amusement, the most unexpected rising star in gladiatorial history. The being who turned cleaning supplies into weapons of war. The warrior who made lemon fresh a battle cry. Standing at a mere 1.8 cubits tall, with nothing but standard janitorial equipment and what our experts still insist is madness, I give you. Marcus the Maintenance Master. The opposite shield dissolved, revealing a human male wearing what appeared to be modified custodial armor, pushing what the more educated members of the audience now recognized as a cleaning cart. The cart's wheels squeaked slightly, drawing gasps from the crowd who believed it to be some form of intimidation call. Caxnor's third eye blinked rapidly as he watched Marcus adjust his name tag, which had somehow survived every battle thus far. The announcer's mind drifted back to 3 lunar cycles ago, when this bizarre saga began. He remembered laughing when he first heard about the human janitor who had accidentally become a gladiator. Now, like everyone else, he waited with bated breath to see what impossible victory Marcus would pull off next. Before these titans clash in what promises to be the most watched event since the Great Convergence, let us remember how this extraordinary tale began. When a simple mix-up led to the greatest gladiatorial sensation the galaxy has ever seen. The arena's holoscreens shimmered as they prepared to show the flashback footage. Caxnor smiled, his mandibles clicking together in anticipation. He had announced thousands of matches in his career, but nothing had ever come close to the story of Marcus Rodriguez, the human who turned the art of cleaning into the galaxy's most feared combat style. The crowd fell silent as the holoscreens flickered to life, ready to relive the beginning of a legend that began with a very confused human and a very misguided alien recruiter. Blix P. Teth, junior talent scout for the Galactic Gladiatorial Federation, had been having a terrible recruitment cycle. After failing to secure any promising warriors from 17 different star systems, he was desperate. His supervisor had made it quite clear either find a new champion or find a new job. That's when he saw it. Through the observation window of Space Station Delta 9, a figure moved with precise, calculated movements, wielding what appeared to be an extendable power staff. The being methodically conquered territory after territory, leaving everything in its wake gleaming and spotless. By the 7 moons, Blex whispered, his sensory tentacles quivering with excitement. Such precision, such dedication, such cleanliness. The figure was Marcus Rodriguez, 3rd shift janitor for Delta 9, who was entirely focused on removing a particularly stubborn piece of gum from the station's deck. He barely noticed the overdressed alien practically bouncing toward him with a tablet in hand. Greetings, mighty warrior, Blex announced, bowing so low his head tendrils brushed the freshly mopped floor. Marcus looked up from his work, mop still in hand. Sir, careful there. Floor still wet. Such concern for your opponent's footing. Truly honorable, Blex's translator garbled the words with enthusiasm. Your mastery of the extending light staff is remarkable, he gestured to the mop. And your utility belt, with the cleaning supplies. And your mobile weapons platform, the cleaning cart. Look, buddy, I think you've got the wrong, Marcus began. No, I insist, Blex cut him off, shoving the tablet forward. The Galactic Gladiatorial Federation would be honored to have a warrior of your caliber. Simply press your appendage here, and eternal glory shall be yours. Marcus squinted at the contract. The text kept shifting between various alien languages and badly translated English. He caught phrases like honor-bound and glory eternal mixed with what appeared to be cleaning product advertisements. After 16 hours of scrubbing space tourist fingerprints off viewing windows, his brain wasn't operating at full capacity. This some kind of cleaning service contract, he asked, stifling a yawn. Yes, yes, you will clean. The arena. Of opponents, Blex's translator struggled with the metaphor. Well, I have been looking for a better paying position, Marcus muttered, pressing his thumb to the tablet. The device chirped happily. Blex's color pattern shifted to what humans might recognize as ecstatic purple. Excellent. Your first deathmatch begins in 3 solar rotations. My first what now? Your equipment will be transferred to the training grounds immediately. Blex was practically vibrating with joy as he scanned Marcus's cleaning cart. Hold up, did you say deathmatch? Oh, and do not worry about the release waiver regarding dismemberment and acid burns. That's just standard paperwork. Marcus stood there, mop dripping on his shoes, as the reality of what just happened began to sink in. I think there's been a huge misunder. Behold, Blex shouted to no one in particular. I present Marcus Rodriguez, the sanitation slayer, the maintenance marauder, what is that delightful scent? Lemon fresh disinfectant, Marcus replied weakly. The lemon warrior, Blex declared. This is going to get me such a promotion. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to register your unique weapons with the Committee of Combat Regulation. That extending power staff and your chemical warfare agents will need special clearance. Before Marcus could explain that he was holding a basic mop and some pine sol, Blex had scurried away, leaving behind only a data chip with coordinates to something called the Murder Dome Training Grounds. Marcus looked at his cleaning cart, then at the contract, then back at his cart. Well, he sighed, at least it comes with dental. The mop water slowly dripped onto the floor, forming a puddle that somehow managed to look as confused as Marcus felt. The Murder Dome Training Grounds turned out to be exactly what it said on the tin, a massive complex filled with the galaxy's most lethal warriors, preparing to kill each other in creative ways. Marcus stood in the registration line, clutching his mop like a security blanket, while beings with too many limbs and not enough skin brandished weapons that defied physics. Aim and combat specialization, growled the registration officer, a being who appeared to be made entirely of sentient plasma contained within a bureaucrat's uniform. Marcus Rodriguez, and there's been a huge mistake. I'm actually a Jan. Master of Sanitation Combat, announced Blex, appearing from nowhere and nearly causing Marcus to jump out of his skin. He's my recruit, the one I told you about. The plasma being's clipboard sizzled with interest. Ah yes, the warrior who harnesses the power of, what did you call it? Lemony freshness. That's just floor clean. His signature chemical warfare agent, Blex interrupted again. Absolutely devastating. You should see how it makes his opponents slip. And that's how Marcus found himself in Training Arena C, surrounded by the most dangerous beings in the galaxy, armed with nothing but his trusty cleaning cart and increasingly frayed nerves. Today we assess new recruits, announced head trainer Krakth, a 12-foot-tall mass of muscle and mandibles. You will demonstrate your combat techniques against training drones. Rodriguez, you're first. Marcus raised his hand. About that. I've been trying to tell everyone. 3 combat drones buzzed to life, their weapon systems humming ominously. Marcus did the only thing he could think of. He panicked and threw his bucket of mop water at them. The effect was spectacular. The drones, apparently not waterproofed, because who throws water in a gladiatorial match, short-circuited in a spectacular display of sparks and error messages. They spun wildly, slipped on the wet floor, and crashed into each other. The arena went silent. Incredible, Krakth's mandibles clacked excitedly. He disabled 3 Mark 7 combat units with a single attack. What do you call this technique? Mopping. Mopping. Krakth turned to the other recruits. Witness the power of this ancient Earth combat art. Things only got more bizarre from there. During weapons training, Marcus's attempts to demonstrate that his bottle of glass cleaner was not, in fact, a deadly neurotoxin, resulted in him accidentally spraying an attacking drone in its optical sensors. The resulting malfunction caused it to crash into 4 other drones. The accuracy, gasped a 7-armed weapons master. He knew exactly where to strike with his blinding agent. In hand-to-hand combat, Marcus's instinctive duck and cover technique, developed over years of avoiding angry supervisors, was interpreted as an advanced evasion form. His frantic scramble to clean up a spilled container of floor wax was seen as a masterful trap-laying strategy when three sparring partners slipped and crashed into the walls. The way he manipulates the battlefield itself, whispered an impressed trainee. It's like he's 10 steps ahead. By week's end, Marcus had gained a following. Other gladiators began mimicking his techniques, though their attempts to replicate his devastating mop strikes left much to be desired. One warrior from the Crab Nebula became convinced that Marcus's window squeegee was some sort of ritual combat scepter. "Please," Marcus begged his new disciples, "I'm just trying to keep the place clean." Such humility, they responded in awe. Truly a mark of a great warrior. The final straw came during the training assessment. Marcus, attempting to clean up after a particularly messy combat demonstration, absent-mindedly began whistling while he worked. The high-pitched tune from an old Earth commercial jingle caused several aliens with sensitive auditory organs to become disoriented. Sound-based psychic attacks, K-Rath declared. This human's mastery of multidimensional combat is unprecedented. That evening, Marcus sat on his bunk, surrounded by cleaning supplies that had been officially registered as Class 7 warrior artifacts. His mop had been given a special weapons permit. His cart now had its own insurance policy. And somehow, his bottle of Windex had been classified as a restricted chemical weapon in 3-star systems. I don't suppose, he asked Blex, who was busy updating his combat profile, that anyone's going to believe me if I tell them this is all a misunderstanding. Of course not, Blex beamed, his tentacles wiggling with pride. Your modesty only adds to your mystique. Oh, and the Combat Analysis Board wants to know the components of your Sacred Pine Sol potion. They've never seen anything dissolve training mat stains so effectively. Marcus buried his face in his hands. In 3 days, he would face his first real gladiatorial match. His only consolation was that at least the arena would be spotlessly clean when he died. Little did he know, his unconventional training was about to turn the galaxy's gladiatorial circuit completely upside down. After all, no one expects the guy with the caution wet floor sign to be a deadly warrior, and sometimes that's the greatest advantage of all. And now, making his debut in the Gamma Sector amateur circuit, the mysterious warrior from Earth wielding ancient cleaning arts, Marcus the Maintenance Master. The announcement echoed through the packed arena as Marcus nervously pushed his cleaning cart into view. The crowd's reaction was mixed confusion, laughter, and what sounded like a few aliens trying to place bets on how quickly he'd be dismembered. His opponent, a 7-foot-tall warrior named Crunch the Pulverizer, was already in the arena, swinging a plasma-enhanced battle axe that hummed with deadly energy. Seriously, Marcus called out to the referee, a floating orb with way too many eyes. There's been a huge mistake. I'm just a Janet. Crunch's battle cry cut him off as the massive alien charged forward. Marcus did what came naturally after years of dealing with rushing commuters in space station corridors. He put up his caution wet floor sign. Crunch, focused on Marcus's head and not the ground, didn't notice the puddle of industrial-grade floor wax that had accidentally spilled from the cleaning cart. The mighty warrior's feet flew up, sending his massive frame sliding across the arena floor like an angry, well-armed hockey puck. Remarkable, the announcer screamed. The human has turned the arena itself into a weapon. Crunch scrambled to his feet, now thoroughly enraged and slightly bruised. He hurled his axe directly at Marcus, who deflected it with his mop bucket in a move that was absolutely panic rather than skill. Water sprayed everywhere, shorting out the axe's plasma enhancement. The human neutralizes energy weapons with dihydrogen monoxide. Marcus, who was really just trying not to die, backed away while frantically spraying his window cleaner in a defensive pattern. The ammonia-based cleaner caught the arena lights, temporarily blinding Crunch. Ancient Earth chemical warfare. The crowd was going wild. Neural networks across the galaxy were lighting up with clips of the match. Betting systems crashed as odds were rapidly recalculated. Crunch, now slipping, blind and thoroughly humiliated, charged once more. Marcus, out of options, did the only thing he could. He thrust his mop forward like a spear, forgetting he'd just used it to soak up the floor wax. The mop head wrapped around Crunch's legs like a bola, the wax making it impossible to shake off. The mighty warrior toppled, slid across the still slick floor, and crashed directly into his own discarded axe handle. The impact wasn't lethal, but it left Crunch sprawled out, tangled in cleaning supplies, and completely unable to continue. Silence fell over the arena. The referee orb hovered uncertainly for a moment before announcing victory by technical cleaning. The crowd exploded. Marcus stood in the center of the arena, mop still in hand, looking as confused as everyone else felt. His neural network popularity was skyrocketing, with hashtags like cleansing the competition and Mop Warrior trending across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. I've never seen anything like it, the announcer gushed. The precision, the strategy, the lemon-fresh scent of victory. In the VIP booth, several major team owners were already preparing recruitment offers. 3 different cleaning product companies began drafting sponsorship deals. Someone in the merchandise department rushed to start production on replica mops. The human controls the battlefield through superior sanitation techniques, declared a popular combat analyst. Notice how he first establishes a zone of cleanliness, then uses it to devastating effect. Marcus tried one last time to explain, really, I was just trying to clean up the spill before someone got hurt. Such concern for arena safety, the crowd roared in approval. In the preparation area, other fighters were already attempting to copy his techniques, though most of them were holding their mops upside down. Blix was practically dancing with joy. I told them you were a once-in-a-generation talent. The way you weaponized basic maintenance supplies, the combat applications of proper workplace safety protocols, you're going to revolutionize the entire sport. Marcus sighed, looking at his reflection in the freshly polished arena floor. He had somehow survived his first match. Unfortunately, he had also just invented an entirely new school of gladiatorial combat. At least, he muttered, picking up his mop, the arena's clean. Above him, the neural networks continued to buzz with replays of his victory, and somewhere, a marketing team was already designing posters with the slogan Marcus Rodriguez cleaning up the competition, one gladiator at a time. The Pine Sol Pile Driver, the Windex takedown, the Swiffer sweep of death. Combat commentator Zyxara waved all 4 arms excitedly as she analyzed Marcus's latest victory. In just 3 months, Marcus Rodriguez has transformed from unknown rookie to rising star, with an unorthodox style that's taking the gladiatorial world by storm. The holoscreen behind her showed highlights Marcus accidentally clotheslining a charging brute with his push broom, defeating an anti-gravity specialist by creating a slip and slide with furniture polish, and his now legendary Bucket Brigade barrage, where he had panicked and thrown every cleaning supply he had at an opponent. Our expert panel is here to break down his mysterious earth combat techniques, Zyxara continued. Professor N. Bulk, you've spent weeks studying his methods. The professor, a floating brain in a jar, pulsed thoughtfully. Fascinating stuff. The humans have clearly weaponized their mundane maintenance procedures. Take his signature move, which he calls mopping. It's actually a complex combination of fluid dynamics and friction manipulation. At that very moment, in his new luxury training facility, Marcus was trying to explain reality to his dedicated team of combat analysts. Look, when I say time to mop up the competition, I mean it literally. The arena gets really dirty during. Brilliant, interrupted his new manager, a hyperactive plasma being named Bob. He had chosen the name to seem more Earth-like, using cleaning metaphors to intimidate opponents. Your psychological warfare is masterful. Marcus had gained sponsors too. His official combat uniform now sported logos from Cosmic Clean and Galactic Wash Solutions. His simple cleaning cart had been replaced with a chrome-plated, anti-gravity model that his tech team insisted on calling his mobile combat platform. The human combat style of janitorial arts is sweeping the galaxy, announced another newsfeed. The video showed dozens of fighters in training centers, awkwardly swinging mops and spraying cleaning products with terrible technique. They're holding them completely wrong, Marcus muttered. You'll never get the corners clean like that. Such dedication to form, praised his combat trainer, always analyzing the competition. His fame grew with each match. Fan clubs sprung up across the galaxy. Merchandise flew off the shelves. Action figures of Marcus came complete with real mopping action and battle-ready cleaning cart. Someone had even written a combat manual titled The Way of the Mop, Ancient Earth Wisdom. During his most recent bout, Marcus had defeated a notorious warrior by simply going about his usual cleaning routine, causing his opponent to become so confused and frustrated that he knocked himself out walking into a freshly washed window. The tactical genius, declared the combat analysts. He used his opponent's momentum against him while maintaining optimal transparency of the combat surfaces. Now ranked in the top 100, Marcus found himself invited to exclusive gladiator social events. Other fighters would bow respectfully and ask him to share the secrets of his ancient art. "Have you mastered the sacred earth technique of vacuuming?" one would ask. "Is it true that dusting requires decades of meditation?" wondered another. Marcus's attempts to demonstrate proper cleaning techniques were interpreted as advanced combat training sessions. His lesson on the proper way to change garbage bags was documented as tactical waste management for warriors. The final straw came when the Galactic Gladiatorial Federation officially recognized combat cleaning as a legitimate fighting style. They even created a special certification program, though Marcus noted that none of the graduates could actually get a floor properly clean. "You've created something revolutionary," Bob declared, waving a new sponsorship contract. "The bathroom cleaner company wants to name their new product line after your famous toilet brush defensive stance." "I was just unclogging a toilet." Exactly. Maintaining battlefield hygiene while dispatching opponents. Brilliant. Marcus stared at his reflection in his chrome-plated cleaning cart, now equipped with combat-grade cleaning supplies and what his tech team called tactical safety warnings. His simple mop had been upgraded with carbon fiber and LED lights. Someone had even installed a sound system that played dramatic music whenever he started cleaning. Maybe he sighed, watching a group of aspiring warriors practicing with feather dusters. "I should have just taken that job on Mars." But there was no turning back now. He was Marcus Rodriguez, the galaxy's most feared master of combat cleaning, and his next match would be for the championship. If only someone had told him that keeping the arena clean would be such a dirty business. Breaking news. We're coming to you live from outside Marcus Rodriguez's training facility, where the Earth Warrior is preparing for his championship bout against Gravitax the World Ender. The reporter, a floating cloud of sentient gas named Puff, swirled excitedly. The burning question on everyone's mind: what new cleaning techniques will he unveil? The media circus had reached fever pitch. Every news outlet across 17 galaxies was running special features with titles like Maintenance Master, the Making of a Legend, and From Cleaning Closet to Combat Champion. Inside his training room, Marcus watched as his opponent's previous matches played on loop. Gravitax stood 9 feet tall, had 6 arms, and was famous for destroying entire arenas during his fights. Meanwhile, Marcus was trying to get a scuff mark off the holoprojector screen. "Your dedication to training is inspiring," declared his new combat guru, a 6-eyed being who had legally changed his name to Mr. Clean in honor of what he called the Earth Combat Saints. "I just can't stand smudged screens," Marcus muttered, spritzing some glass cleaner. Across the galaxy, fighters were still attempting to replicate his style. The result was chaos. 3 different combat schools had been flooded by incorrect mopping techniques. A champion from the Andromeda Galaxy had concussed himself trying to replicate Marcus's legendary slip and slide maneuver. Marcus, a reporter caught him outside the training facility. "Is it true you've mastered the forbidden art of steam cleaning?" "Well, I did just get a new vacuum with a steam attachment." Exclusive, the reporter's headlines flashed. "Rodriguez confirms mastery of steam arts." The merchandising had exploded too. Action figures, cleaning product lines, and even a breakfast cereal called Mop Warrior Crunch filled store shelves. A popular children's show now featured a cartoon character based on him, Captain Cleanliness and the Sanitation Squadron. Bob burst into his quarters one morning, tentacles wiggling with excitement. "Marcus, they want to make a training simulation of your techniques. Something about experience the ancient Earth art of buffing." "I was just waxing the floor." Exactly. The sacred waxing techniques passed down through generations of Earth warriors. The day before the championship, Marcus attended the pre-fight press conference. Gravitax towered over him, all 6 arms crossed imposingly. "I have studied your Earth combat cleaning," Gravitax rumbled. "Your techniques are impressive, but they will not save you." Look, Marcus tried one last time. "I'm really just a Johnny." "Your humility honors you." Earth warrior Gravitax bowed respectfully. "But tomorrow we shall see if your Lysol lance can match my planetary devastator beam." In the front row, a group of fighters were taking notes, all holding their mops incorrectly. One was wearing a shirt that read "Sweep the leg but use proper floor care techniques." The betting odds were wild. Gravitax was the favorite. But Marcus's unpredictability had bookmakers nervous. No one knew what new techniques he might unveil. "Your combat strategy," Master asked an earnest young apprentice during the final training session. Marcus looked at his cleaning cart, now equipped with what his tech team called combat-grade sanitizing capabilities and a built-in energy shield they had labeled the hygiene barrier. "Well, first I'll need to clean up any debris from previous matches. The arena gets really messy." "Genius," the apprentice scribbled frantically, clearing the battlefield of negative energy through ritual purification. That night, as Marcus prepared his supplies for the championship bout, he watched the sports networks continue their endless analysis. Could the legendary bathroom break technique make an appearance? Will he unveil the rumored triple action spring fresh strike? Sources say he's mastered the mythical power scrub protocol. Marcus sighed, carefully arranging his cleaning supplies in their designated holders. His original plastic spray bottles had been replaced with reinforced metal containers bearing warning labels like "Caution contains combat-grade pine scent." Tomorrow, he would face the most dangerous gladiator in the galaxy. The fate of his cleaning contract, and possibly the entire janitorial arts, hung in the balance. "Well," he said to his reflection in the freshly polished floor, "at least the arena will be spotless." Somewhere in the distance, he could hear fans chanting what had become his catchphrase, "Clean up," or "Throw down." He still wasn't sure how that had started. He'd just been asking people to clean up after themselves in the locker room. The arena fell silent as Marcus and Gravitax faced each other. Above them, 3 artificial suns cast dramatic shadows across the freshly polished floor. Marcus had insisted on cleaning it himself before the match. Today, 2 legends clashed, the announcer's voice boomed. Gravitax the World Ender versus Marcus the Maintenance Master. Gravitax activated all 6 of his energy weapons simultaneously. "Your cleaning techniques end here, Earth Warrior." Marcus checked his watch. "You know, this would go faster if everyone just cleaned up after themselves." The champion charged forward, all 6 arms swinging death. Marcus ducked behind his cleaning cart, accidentally hitting the new combat sprayer his tech team had installed. A pressurized blast of lemon-fresh multi-surface cleaner shot out, creating a fine mist in the air. "The legendary citrus smokescreen," gasped the announcer. The cleaning solution got into Gravitax's many eyes. "My vision. It burns with the freshness of 1,000 lemons." The champion stumbled, slipping on the still wet floor. Marcus, purely out of habit, placed his "Caution wet floor" sign nearby. "Behold." "The sacred warning totem of Earth," the crowd chanted. Gravitax recovered, firing his planetary devastator beam. Marcus raised his chrome-plated mop in panic, trying to shield himself. The beam reflected off the polished surface, bouncing around the arena like deadly laser pinball. He's redirecting energy attacks with his combat staff. "That's not what I look out for the puddle." But Gravitax didn't hear the warning, too focused on charging up his next attack. The champion's foot hit a patch of floor wax, sending him sliding toward the arena wall. 5 of his 6 arms pinwheeled frantically. Marcus, running purely on customer service instinct, rushed forward to try and prevent an accident. "Sir, please be careful. The floor's still." Gravitax's 6th arm swung out, catching Marcus's cleaning cart and sending it airborne. Cleaning supplies rained down across the arena. A bottle of industrial-strength drain cleaner burst against Gravitax's armor, starting a chemical reaction with the metal. "My battle suit. It's dissolving." "That's why you should always read the warning labels," Marcus noted professionally. The champion, now sliding uncontrollably, tangled in dissolving armor, crashed into his own discarded weapons. The resulting explosion sent him flying into the "Caution wet floor" sign, which toppled onto the activation switch for his remaining weapons, shorting them out in the puddle of cleaning solution. Gravitax laid there, defeated by a perfect storm of cleaning products and workplace safety violations. The arena exploded with cheers. Marcus immediately grabbed his mop, concerned about the mess. "Victory," the announcer screamed. "Marcus Rodriguez has done the impossible. But wait, he's not celebrating. He's cleaning the arena." "Someone could slip," Marcus explained, carefully mopping up the spilled cleaning solutions. "This much floor wax is a serious safety hazard." The cameras zoomed in as he methodically cleaned every spill, checked on Gravitax's well-being, and carefully sorted the recyclable bottles from the regular trash. Even in victory, he honors the ancient traditions the commentators gasped. Gravitax, now sitting up and accepting a damp paper towel for his eyes, stared at Marcus. Wait, are you telling me you're actually just a... Janitor Marcus nodded, wringing out his mop. Been trying to tell everyone that since day one. The revelation shot through the neural networks like wildfire. But instead of disappointment, the response was even more frenzied. A master of disguise. He hid his true power in plain sight. The ultimate warrior, one who cleans up after his own battles. Marcus found himself lifted onto the shoulders of cheering fans, still clutching his mop. Somewhere in the crowd, a new chant started: clean and undefeated. Clean and undefeated. In the VIP booth, Bob was already fielding sponsorship offers. They want to make your cleaning cart into a limited edition collector's item. But it's just a regular cart. The sacred cart of victory, the crowd roared. As Marcus was carried through the arena in triumph, he noticed someone had left a wrapper on the ground. He reached down to pick it up, causing 3 different combat analysts to begin frantically documenting the victory cleanup ritual. Blix, watching from the sidelines, wiped away a proud tear. I knew he was special the moment I saw him vanquish that piece of gum. Marcus sighed but couldn't help smiling. He was the galaxy's first cleaning-based gladiatorial champion, and the arena had never been more spotless. 6 months after the legendary championship match, combat cleaning had become the galaxy's fastest-growing martial art. Dojos filled with earnest students practicing their mop techniques sprouted across 17 star systems. The Galactic Gladiatorial Federation had even established an official sanitation division. Marcus watched it all from his new office at Space Station Delta 9, where he had returned as the head of maintenance and Grand Master of Janitorial Combat. A shelf behind his desk displayed his championship belt, though he mostly used it to hang his spare uniform. Your Earth wisdom has changed everything, declared his former opponents, who now sent their apprentices to learn the proper way to use a vacuum cleaner. The combat schools taught moves like the Rodriguez roll, basic dusting, the maintenance mediator asking people nicely to clean up after themselves, and the final sanction using the dreaded wet floor sign. None of their graduates could actually clean very well, but the galaxy had never been more enthusiastic about proper waste management. Marcus's cleaning cart stood in a museum, though he'd insisted on keeping his original mop. Some tools you just get attached to, he explained to the documentary crew following him around. And so, every day, the galaxy's most celebrated warrior went about his usual routine, keeping the station clean, ensuring proper safety protocols, and occasionally demonstrating to visiting fighters that the true secret to victory wasn't in the technique, but in taking pride in a job well done. Though he did enjoy the employee parking space they'd given him. After all, every legendary warrior deserves some perks.